I bleed for this shit. Tutty, baby. Let's fucking go! Try all you want. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm number one for a fucking reason.
Let's go back to back. Let's go.
Hi, and welcome to DD Live. We're here to save your week, guys. There's not much content out. It's us and the other guys. We love them too. But we're here to talk about everything that is done deal and football. There's a lot to talk about. We have a last week of the regular season that we need to talk about. Additions, injuries, some debate about the MVP race, projections on the playoffs, and a little in between. That said, let's first get going with the last week of the season. And everything started with the first game, as this show said. It was going to boil down to Saints and Raiders. And it kind of set the tone for the rest of the day. Mikey, what'd you take away from the Saints and the Raiders?
I mean, bro, when I went to go watch them, and as you can see by the film that we're going to drop right now, they were up 3-0. Raiders went in there, half asleep. They actually made a comeback. They tied it up, but Cheeky got him, bro. And I think on the play that I'm going to show where Cheeky got him, it's Lewis's fault completely, bro. He playing man on AJ. All he had to do was give AJ a handoff. Now Lewis is a rusher. Bye-bye defense. Cheeky took the quick flat route. TD. They killed, and Lewis in the video that, no, because you're playing man on AJ. So give AJ a handoff and you're done. You're out the game.
I mean, I was screaming at AJ and Swazo and Cheeky. I was like, you guys need to get a handoff every single play. You guys are running full hard, so you don't have to do the get a handoff, lock arms, get it back. You just snap it to AJ or snap it to Swazo or snap it to Manny S, whoever was there. Cheeky, you get the ball now. You are just running or throwing every single play. So I'm glad they finally listened. And I think we all agreed that the Saints were gonna win, and like we predicted. And I think I said it. I'm like, listen, the Saints need that game because they're going for hard. So they need to know, like, okay, we got one, And then on the other side, we said the Raiders need it because they might feel a little a little bit more defeated. Since they were favored at the beginning of the season, they were ranked the number one team coming into the season. Obviously, one big change happened, but even if this is the original team, they would have still been the number one ranked team. So it was more at that point. It was more of a mental hurdle. So yeah, man. Like I said, I think actually we all predicted it that the winner of that game would go 4-0.
Yeah, and Saints, going for hard, bro. Are they better?
I mean, it's tough to say they're not
better. Bert. No, if you want Bert, no offense, but that team for hard, just AJ and Cheeky figuring it out, they have a better chance, bro.
Of course. I mean, it's that whole, it always comes back to the argument. Do you want your best 4 players on the field? Or do you want to, do your rotations, see if you can, abuse a mismatch in that regard and stuff like that, for them, it worked out. They had their best 4 players on the field. Like we said, no slight to Big Bird, but Manny S is definitely more athletic than Big Bird. And that's all you want in your tier 5. Someone that can move and is somewhat athletic, and Manny S is that guy, bro.
Yeah, and Swazo actually turned up too. I heard a lot of good things about him.
I mean, I've played with Swazo, so I can tell
you. I thought that guy was un enfermo.
Yeah, but I can tell you, bro.
No. I learned about that Infemo pretty quick when John let him slide as a tier 6 in the Mamba Bowl. And our only losses in that tournament was to CC, and that Cardinals team was Swazo as a tier 6.
That was un raver, like
un raver that's like 6 feet tall, that rushes really
when
good.
He's engaged
and could go up for the ball.
Yeah, when he's engaged.
And he was like, hey, that guy is Pablo on offense. I was like, what?
Yeah, man, listen, like I said, when that guy was engaged for us in the Ravens last season, he was a problem. Problem with him is, when it came to the playoffs, he got a little nervous. So let's see. Hopefully he can get over that hurdle this season.
Is Bert out playoffs, or is he back?
No, I think he's back. I think he's back.
Yeah, there hasn't been any talk about Burt being out, but quite frankly, it's something that we talked about on the show. We said that the first game was going to set the tempo for the rest of the day, because it was either going to make it for the Saints having to be behind the 8 ball the rest of the morning and the afternoon, or they were going to set the tempo. And that's exactly what they did. They set the tempo and they ran the table. And it's just because it speaks to the volume and the quality of the players that they have. AJ and Cheeky are exceptional football players. And that's why the Saints, and it's going to be a team we're going to be talking about later on in this show, the fact that they have just so much talent and such a high football IQ that they came from a bad situation. And at least, one of the guys that Perra jettisoned into oblivion, made it into the playoffs.
I told him, I was like, hey, I'm shipping you off, but guess what? You're still going to make the playoffs.
So if there's still a debate, AJ, Perra loves you more than that. That's what it boiled down to. But that said, the next topic that, comes up to mind from the last week, and there was a lot of talk on this show and during the season and amongst the chat and amongst everyone, whether if Eric Laura or not could play quarterback. And I had Matt calling me and telling me, listen, you need to go on the show and you need to say that Laura did it. And Laura did it. I was one of the ones on the last episode that I just didn't see the Jaguars getting enough wins to be able to make it. And he's made a very reputable player out of Jules, maximizing his value in the Jaguars and sneaking in right into the playoffs. I didn't foresee that. Mikey called it that they were going to make it into the playoffs. And I know Laura betted heavy on himself that he could play Dundee as a quarterback. In his words, I'm a football player. And then that's sort of what the Jaguars entail. So, and that's what I felt going into the playoffs. The Saints and the Jaguars, they're coming in with this momentum, because we saw a little bit of the top teams sort of flatline towards the end. And then you have all these teams coming in hot. You have teams that are dropping players. You have some injuries and you have some add-ons. What do you guys take from the last week?
Bro, to be honest, Laura finished with a 60% completion rate, 32-5 touchdown to interception ratio. He's okay, bro. Like, I don't want to give him too much credit. That guy's a football wide receiver god, but at quarterback, like, whatever. He did what he could. He didn't have crazy weapons, but he only won 6 times. I mean, he got in because the conference is obviously dookie, but I'm not giving him too much credit. I knew they'd get in, but he's a meh quarterback.
What can we say about the Titans and Julio?
Julio,
quarterback.
Bold statement. Julio's a better quarterback than Laura.
No, stop. No.
Look at the numbers.
It's not the numbers, bro. I'm telling you, I played. In fact, as a matter of fact, I played both of them. Week 4. It's not close.
Who did Julio throw to?
Marshall. He had better matchups. He had Marshall, Caesar, Anthony, and Genesis. That's speed.
Okay.
Wait. I thought Caesar had a nickname in DD.
I don't have one for him.
I don't know, because Twitter said something about Caesar no hands.
I don't even know.
Hey, at the end of the day, if it comes down to it, if I have to, he's their tier 4. I have to cover him. Brother, run a go route and just throw it. 50-50. It's him or the ground, because I'm not running with him. Neither are you. Mikey can, but none of us two right here, we can't run with that guy. Just throw it. It's either him or the ground.
Listen, Titans were a game away from making the playoffs.
I told him, I was like, yo, man, my bad. I should have let y'all beat me in game 1 of
No,
week
there's
4.
integrity in Dundee. There's no such thing. There is no such thing as throwing games. There's no such thing as manipulating. There's no such that does not exist. There is integrity.
I can tell you, backroom deals were made week 4. I can guarantee you that. I was part of a few.
You were part? Oh my! We got P Rose on the show, guys. I'm getting canceled again. I'm not Dave Chappelle. I can't outlast this.
Low key though, if we're talking numbers, Julio had a better quarterback season than this guy. I'm sorry.
Bro, smaller sample size.
Yes.
And Perra, one of the surprising things was that Panthers, they took a couple L's on that last week. You had a couple no shows.
Yeah, man.
Your trade resonated. Your trade resonated. You're the new newly duly appointed captain slayer, and it kind of backfired on you, and then whoever you added on backfired on you as well. And then you want to jog us through, because in the last episode you were pulling it close to the vest.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I still stand by it. The trade was the right trade to make, in my opinion.
Okay.
And then obviously, unfortunately, injuries happen. Will's knee, Pepito's hammy. There's definitely no surprise there. And then
it was the good hammy this time. You are not going to talk about Pepito's good hammy.
Exactly. So, and then Paulie's, I mean, I guess one of those like, yo, life happens and it is what it is. So, I mean, I replaced everybody with people that obviously I know, which it is what it is. And then people may want to complain, but at the end of the day, I went by the rules, going equal emphasis and focusing on the equal part, not the lesser. Obviously things happening within the head of the league, and one of the people I picked up, Timmy, was slated to come Saturday, but then there was a misunderstanding. And then he couldn't come, and then he finally got approved, and then it was like, yeah, too late now. And he's my boy, and I'm gonna ride with him. He told me, yo, if you need me to drop, I'll drop. But I was like, no, bro, it's fine. We need 1 point. And we'll be in the playoffs. And listen, I was super proud of the guys, especially for 2 guys that had never played Done Deal, for them to come in. And Done Deal's a little bit, well, it's definitely a mental game when okay, I gotta play defense and I gotta play offense. And especially when you're going for hard that, oh shit, I can't get out. Like it's that mental hurdle where, like Anthony Olivencia, he comes in, he's known as a wide receiver 1 type guy. He runs a post, he runs out. He's not in the next play. Somebody else, he's usually has another stud behind him to replace him. Now he runs the post and he has to come right back to the huddle.
That's what killed me my first ever tournament. And
yeah, exactly, Mikey. That's what killed you.
What was the name of that tournament?
The Summer Showdown.
Hey, when Jordan ran me on a post and I realized I had to get the ball, run it back, and the play is post right.
Again. Yeah, man. So it's that mental hurdle where it's like, damn, I can't get out. Like, and then you got to stay mentally engaged in the game, because the moment you get out of it mentally, you can, injuries happen. And obviously, best case scenario, obviously you lose the game, or you make a bad play because you're out of it mentally. So I was glad that those guys, those 2 guys, Josh and Anthony, showed out. In my opinion, like I said, we battled. We had no reason for being in that game against the Titans, and we should have beaten them. But we ended up tying them 2-2. And then obviously the other 2 games, we knew realistically, it is what it is. The Cowboys had their guy, so that was no shot. And with Laura, I did what we could. I just threw bombs to Anthony. When we did connect, it was a touchdown, and when we didn't connect, it wasn't complete. And then we just couldn't run with them.
Will you have a full team for the playoffs?
Yeah, full team. Timmy already confirmed. Good to go. He got his flight.
For those who don't know, because Panthers Camp has it's had a multitude of changes to the roster. What is your lineup?
So I got Anthony Olivencia as my captain, Timmy at tier 2, myself at tier 3, Josh at tier 4, and then Mono at tier 4. We don't have a tier 5 by definition.
Solid squad. How is Manu's health?
Manu's good. Manu's good.
So everyone's 100% ready to go on Saturday.
We're good to go.
Phenomenal to hear from Panthers Camp. Phenomenal to hear.
Finally.
Listen, and it's a good time to have full health. Playoff time. It's the best time to be, and the best time to be. Now, is there anything else that you guys took from the last week?
Yeah, I think we should also shed some light on the people that didn't make playoffs.
All right, talk to me.
So, just looking at the standings,
who imploded?
Look, I think Munchie is a great player. He imploded with all the trades he did after that whole Pablo thing. I don't think he.
Do you think that he did it out of spite?
Yeah.
No.
Did he trade Pablo to the Packers out of spite? Could he have gotten better value for Pablo?
But it worked out. Hollywood was the right player.
Yeah, it wasn't out of spite. You're trading a tier 2 for a tier 2. So
he did it out of spite, but it worked out.
But
Nigeria.
Hollywood, there was some rumblings in Ravens camp. He left early 1 week.
I mean, listen, they didn't know that. But I mean, so I agree with Mikey, Munchie, and Chink, but I don't think the right word for them would be imploding. I would just think, listen, they got DD. They learned. There's a learning curve here. And hopefully they learned it, you know. If we want to use the word imploding, I want to say Lewis. I want to say CC. Lewis was definitely more of a surprise. But CC hasn't made playoffs in what, 3 seasons?
No. CC, first of all,
That's the definition of imploding.
drafting Ricky 5th. Yo, when you draft the 5th overall, like top player in the draft, that guy, first of all, has to be playing 4 weeks, or that guy is God.
But Mikey, we're going back to the conversation. Am I picking dogs or am I picking my boys?
Is that
Am I trying to have fun or am I trying to win?
So I get I would imagine if I'm CC, I understand why he chose Ricky. He needed a defensive leader. CC's not that guy on defense. So I understand why I would draft him, but at the same time, I feel like there was better options.
$1,000,000%, bro.
Damn, but now you think about it, who? It's easy to go back on it now, but known as an actual leader on defense, who's there? Daniel Elias
did that. We did a redraft that we can talk about later, going back in time and see what he would have done different. So we could talk about that. There's things that did go different, but Munchie, Chink are new.
They got DD. Yeah. And then I would say Lewis and CC imploded, bro. Lewis going in as the number 1 team. And we all saw. Well, we all heard week 1. It was all his screens.
Can we all agree that the 3 likeliest to win the playoffs, it's the Dolphins in no particular order? Dolphins, Patriots, Seahawks. Yes or no?
I agree.
I would say that, they have to be the favorites right now.
And then they're the favorites. The 3 teams are led by quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So it begs to differ. Can someone that is not a quarterback, not a tournament, not a one-day thing, not that you hit the jackpot with the right draft, but over the course of a season, 4 games, week in, week out, 4 weeks playoffs, can someone that is not a quarterback win this league as a captain?
Just looking at the bracket, bro, the only one that can prove that right now is Niners and
I'm waiting.
Chris D, Giants. That's it.
That's crazy. You're not giving me a shot. That's crazy.
But you're a quarterback.
You're
We said non-quarterbacks, perra.
Yeah, but we're talking about captain quarterbacks. That's what I'm assuming.
Okay. Oh, okay. Captain quarterbacks. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
so they draft. Okay. But in terms of captains, so it's either you have to hit on a quarterback or not. But even then, perra, it's a name to take a knock on you.
Yeah, but that's regular football. I think more what you were going towards is captain that are quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Captain that are quarterbacks.
Yeah,
because now, like, if we look at the Winter Classic, the dynamic completely changed, and you know this because you're captaining in the Winter Classic. It's completely different. But when this game is predicated on a certain type of offense and a certain type of breakdown in personnel, and we consistently see that the top echelon teams are teams that are led by quarterbacks, then it begs to differ. It begs to differ that can these players actually be successful in done deal?
Only player that has proven it has been Jordan.
Right.
Yeah, Jordan.
Only player.
With 2 tier 5s.
No, but even before that, only
Chris
person that has proven.
Hey, Chris D's rocking.
He beat Kevin and made a final with 2 tier 5s.
Chris D's rocking,
He
bro.
hadn't done that
So
before.
shout out him. By the way, is Drew and CC, are they captains ever again in the next season?
So my definition of a captain, I know I'm definitely going to sound repetitive. I don't know if I said it on the show, but I know plenty of people have heard me say it. A captain needs to be elite at one thing. CC's elite offensively, so I think he should still be a captain. But Drew's not elite at anything.
I agree.
He's not a quarterback. He's not elite defensively anymore. He once was, but not anymore.
I agree.
And I think Anthony, I don't care, I don't care what anybody says. Anthony Hernandez should definitely be a captain again. I don't know how he would necessarily play out, but I think KP maybe deserves a shot. You know, I don't know how well he would do in terms of leading a team and all that, everything that comes with being a captain, but I think he deserves a shot.
Right.
You know, I think that's about it in my opinion right now. That comes quick to my head because you know if we want to go top 3 picks was Anthony, I think KP, Hollywood's my captain. Mark is great offensively, but I don't think he can be the guy either.
You think he could be a cap just to throw in a true quarterback cap that could help the league? But I think the league needs that. I had that conversation with Chris the other day. So Chris CC, he's like, "Yo, we need more quarterback captains, regardless of leadership." Like
that's sort of the reason why I gauge this conversation, because a lot of the talks after week 4, whether it was at Flanagan's or the whatever, it was the nagging that there isn't enough quarterback captains in DD, and that the game is designed that if you're captain and you're very good at, like, Baca hates playing quarterback, but he's a damn good quarterback. And look where he's at. Look where his team is at because he took over the reins. So that's sort of where the game is sort of curtailed for a quarterback to dominate.
Dude, a lot of captains don't know this, bro, because they're in their own world. But yo, players like me that get drafted only, yo, we shit ourselves to go to any of the 15 out of the non-5 court. Like they don't realize that. Yo, we don't want to play for a huge chunk of you. I'm sorry. Like, yes, you are better. That's why you're captain. But there's a bunch here we don't want to play for, dog, because you want to go to a true quarterback, bro. It gives you the best chance.
Yeah, I mean, my only thing I'll have to say about that, who's really a quarterback out there that can be a captain? Only person I can think of right quick is Willie from Don't Sleep.
And Cheeky.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cheeky's gonna stay around now, so I think we can agree. I think he deserves a shot over Drew.
Shot, bro.
Easily over Drew, I think.
I want to see. I sincerely want to see CC get another shot. I think his ego is bruised. I think he has way too much pride. I think he knows that the time is dwindling on the prime of his career and what he could give the most. And I really feel that the next season, it has to be CC's season.
Drew has to get out there. Like 100%. If that guy's still in, bro, and Cheeky's getting drafted and not a quarterback, it's just odd.
I mean, I agree with your point. Yeah, I think Cheeky deserves a shot. Especially now we see them both as a GM. Now we see them both as a leader, both as a captain in the tournament now. So we'll talk about that later. Let's see how the tournament goes.
No, don't give me names. Don't give me names, Perra. How many people have seen your transactions in anticipation of the Winter Classic and they've hit you up? Perra, I need help. I need help picking next time because I have no idea what I'm doing in Done Deal. Just give me a number.
2 people.
2 people.
Two people that are captains right now.
And it's not any slight towards you, but it's just like you're not one of the most beloved figures, or everyone wants to downplay your knowledge or your football IQ or whatnot. And you have 2 people coming at you being like, Perra's doing something and I need to know how he's doing it. And that's the problem. It's just that there's so many levels to being a captain. You have to be a leader. You have to have the skill. You have to know the players and you have to know how to win. And, you know, it's what makes DD great. It's what makes DD great. The fact that you just can't show up, and sometimes picking your boys is not the answer. And that's sort of what I felt was from this season. It was an amazing season. It was a very exciting week 4. There was so much emotion. The games, everything practically meant down to the wire. And you had teams that missed it out legitimately by 1 game. And a lot of the worry that we had, and on this show that we talked about, was will 16 teams, will it water it down? Will it water it down, the talent, too much? And that's sort of where we saw that it didn't. We didn't have too many bad teams. We only had a couple. And that said, it was a great product. Now, before we move on to the playoffs, now that we're done with the regular season, we're going to finish off the regular season skimming through the awards. And when I say skimming, we're just going to glide, right?
We don't want to open up any wounds that some people may have still.
Because I have a lot of questions, okay? Now, first and foremost, MVP. Are we happy?
The more and more you look at it, you have to be, insane to say Baca doesn't deserve it. I think
Correct.
all three guys were very, very, very deserving to be in the top three, and I wouldn't have had a problem with any of them winning.
Correct.
Now it's tough to see Peaky lose because I think he had it hands down. Like I predicted on the show, he had it going into week 3.
Correct.
And he's a 4-0, so it's like there's no way, But I mean, it is what it is.
Ultimately, I think that with Peaky, which is what we said on the last episode, Peaky's battling Peaky, and he's always going to be compared to himself, not to others. If you compare this season to other seasons, Peaky outdid himself in other seasons and did not win the award. And again, we keep, it's just sort of that like LeBron effect. You take him for granted, you take the talent for granted, and I get it. He might rub you the wrong way, and it's just part of his demeanor. That's just a football player that he is. And I'm no stranger to it. But what I'm trying to say is that, I think the bias we got to leave that at the door.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think we all agree the biggest takeaway from the MVP results were the voting process, has to be, we have to, as a commissioner, I think the owners can debate it if they want, and then they should just present a top 5.
Okay.
Like you can only vote for those top 5.
That's it.
You can't, because Angel, last season nobody voted. Nobody in the Dolphins.
It was horrific. It was horrific. They did a great year. They did great getting more people to vote this season, but last season was trash.
Exactly. So like that's one thing. MVP, I get it. Everybody that made the playoffs, whatever. It's great that I gotta vote. I don't care. I know I should never be MVP. The MVP should just be presented top 5.
Right.
You have
at least
to
you're guaranteed points
guys.
Because even if you don't put the person in by their placement, just because you voted this guy 1, 2, 3, the other ones are going to get the points.
Yeah. And then you can't have people sending in, number 1, and then 2 and 3 blank. Like, no, either you send a whole ballot or you don't vote at all.
A system that has a player with more first place votes, I think it was he had like 6 or 7 more first place.
I think he had like 29 and Baca had 21. So I think like 7 or 8.
Like 7 or 8. That's a 14-point swing. And he didn't win. That means that even more people out of spite left him out of the top 3.
Yeah. Or like we I mean, you don't know, but me and Mikey, know because we're in the chat. People went and changed their vote. You can't go change your vote.
You can't do that.
Out of spite.
No, I'm sorry. You can't do that. Oh, no, you can't do that.
I think
that was so stupid.
I think it's fair to say, I don't know, Mikey, you haven't said much, but I think it's fair to say that we all, if we had an MVP trophy, look right here for Peaky. Well, if we had an MVP trophy to give out, we would give it to Peaky.
Right.
Yeah. So Peaky is he should have won it, but just look at the numbers. We're comparing it. I'm not mad that Baca won.
Exactly.
Absolutely not. We got heat. Mikey, we got heat. You guys got heat for putting Baca in the top 3 for even suggesting it.
Yeah.
We got heat for it.
I know.
We got heat for just even like slightly suggesting, hey guys, look at this guy's numbers.
The guy's TD to INT ratio is 19, bro. 19-1. Bro.
One of them shouldn't even count because it was to Roger.
10-1.
One of them shouldn't even count because it was to Roger, and Roger wasn't even part of that team. It should not even count.
Percentage is 11 points higher than Peaky. He had 3 more picks, 2 more sacks, almost double his flag pulls.
Yeah, no, I think he was top 10. He was top 10 in flag pulls, top 10 in passing touchdowns.
No, and it's no slight to Baca. Baca does not deserve an asterisk. It's just he had an amazing season, and he did this with another quarterback on the team for the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yep.
Mikey,
I'm not mad that he won at all.
Where would you put his numbers had he played the full season as a quarterback?
45 touchdowns. Probably no more interceptions, bro. It's just 2 extra games.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna tell you right now who they played. who the Titans or original Titans played week 1?
The Bears.
I know they played the Panthers because we played them.
The Bears, the first game. I refed it.
The Bears. So that's 2 teams. I'll tell you right now.
Seahawks,
They played
Packers, Seahawks, Packers, Panthers,
Seahawks,
and Bears.
So you figure they could have easily. Let's not overthink it. Just easily 2-2,
Right.
as opposed to going 0-4. I think what they went
Right.
week 1, but 2-2. So you figure that he at least throws what? Let's just say 10 touchdowns and 2 picks. Let's just play it safely. That means he finishes 48-4.
No, he would finish 30. He would finish 48-4. Yeah.
And that's safe. We're just saying it's safe because we're saying he won 2 games scoring 8 touchdowns and lost the other 2 games in blowouts, which I don't see happening. But
And the record's what, 55?
yeah, the record's 55.
Some like, bro, he had an amazing year. There's no knock on Baca,
And he had the better defensive stats.
And it's actually a star for DD Live because we brought Baca on the show last season. Baca took a lot of flack last season, and a lot of people were questioning the fact that if he could be quarterback or not be quarterback.
I was one of those. I said he was my big disappointment from last season.
And then there was a lot of smack that he took for playing in the playoffs for filling in as quarterback. But that team went on to the semifinal with Baca as quarterback. We brought him, we talked about him on the show. We brought him on the show, and he was like, listen, I have a bone to pick. And I just wish, and I hope that we'll get to see in a season, Baca play 4 weeks as quarterback. Because, this is what, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks as quarterback, and he got an MVP out of it. And listen, one of the greatest threats to the title, we said it, one of the 3 teams, 2 of them are in the same conference. Dolphins, Patriots. Could be someone else, but Baca is in that conversation from someone that was a piranha. Like last season, that everyone was saying he was trash, that he was just a wide receiver, that he was, that didn't have the IQ to be a quarterback. He proved a lot of people wrong. Kudos to you, Andy. Very great season. Now, that's enough MVP talk. David, I'm not going to give you more clout. You had a lot of clout last season. We had a great time at the Wharf. I don't need to talk to you. I'm going to talk more about you. Offensive player of the year, gentlemen. Who are we taking?
I'm taking Jaime all day.
Yeah,
bro.
I think consensus has to be Jaime.
Mark balled, but Jaime got robbed. He duplicated his stats in 4 less games. You could make the quarterback argument, but bro, 4 less games is 4 less games, dude.
And I know that Georgie tried to instill in me that, that Marco had to split the targets with
Lopez too, though. Carlos.
But
we can't compare that. We can't compare.
Carlos had 59 catches, bro.
Yeah, but we can't compare. We can't compare the target. We can't compare Jaime being covered by tier 1s as opposed to
no, Georgie. I mean,
compare Baca and Andy as quarterbacks because undoubtedly Baca's a better.
But Marcos is not getting covered by tier 1s. Georgie's getting that treatment.
No, I don't know. I get that. But I'm saying in terms of just overall, like Marco's getting covered by tier 2s. Jaime's getting covered by tier 1s. Jaime had I want to, no slight to anybody here, but it is what it is. Baca's a better quarterback than Andy.
Yes.
And Baca runs an offense where he's just going to feed his guys and let his guys make the play.
Yes.
So, and again, it comes down to the fact that Jaime did all of this in 12 games. Mark did it in 16.
Absolutely.
Once you hear that, it's like, brother, I'm sorry. Argument dismissed.
Yeah.
Jaime, you got the bag, man.
It's a true OPOY, boy.
Defensive player of the year.
Next, we don't need to talk about this.
We don't need to talk about it. The man got the record, man. I got like his. Listen, I was hyping that record up all season, and to a point where I thought I was the only one that was rooting for it to happen. But Andy, he should have had that games before, bro. You intentional, bro, this man intentional grounded into the floor.
There's a GIF out of it already. There's a GIF.
Man threw after that.
Mikey, you gotta add this. You gotta add it on. You gotta add on the GIF, man. You gotta add it on.
Bro, you have to, my brother. Anders is coming. He's like,
nope.
Like Jordan did to those kids. Nope, you're not getting it. And bro, this man threw interceptions before giving Andres a sack. And when Andres got that sack later on in the afternoon, man, bro, the joy in his face.
And it was it was his brother's record too. So
bro, it was just honestly, I honestly thought I was the only one that cared about it. I love stats, and the fact that Andres was able to do it, and he had showed that much emotion. It was kind of surreal. It was awesome. I feel like records are meant to be broken. It was kind of a cool moment to be part of it.
So
now,
from there we can transition straight into the T4, right? Since he's in it.
I guess
tier two was Mark, undoubtedly. You know, if Jaime would have been a tier 2, there would have been some competition there. But
wait, we're talking tier 2 right now?
No, but I'm saying like we're skipping over tier 2 because Jaime was a captain. He replaced Patterson. So there was no competition.
I put a nice little comparison. I think it's a hard choice, bro. Still.
In tier 2? No, man, it's Mark. Not even close. Not even close.
Picture I showed you.
No, man, not even close. It's Mark.
Over Enzo and Julio?
Yeah, it's not even close. Not close. Enzo was that team's number 1.
Yeah.
It's not close. It's not close.
Yeah.
Tier 3, not close either. Manny C, all the credit to you, not close.
Julio had 14 receiving touchdowns.
But it's also Mikey, also a lot of that has to do being the best player on a bad team. You're gonna get the volume.
Yeah.
Either you're creating the offense.
No slight to anybody, but
either you're creating the offense or you're receiving the offense.
All right, so we give it to Mark.
Mark is at best tier 2.
Tier 3, no debate.
No debate.
You know, listen, Manny, we don't want you to take this the wrong way, but there's no competition, so there's no point in giving you any more.
Well, no, we don't need more clout for Manny. We just want to keep that on the deal.
I do want to talk about the tier 4 though, because I do have some things to say.
I think tier 4 was a runaway winner, but it wasn't a runaway competition
at all. In fact, I think the wrong person won. I'm gonna be honest, bro.
Ooh, I don't know about that one, bro. It's tough.
Look, Chris Z had 61 catches. That's like top 5.
That was the number 1 offensive threat on that team.
A tier 4 had 61 catches. That's top 5
with not an actual quote unquote real quarterback.
13 touchdowns, 4 defensive interceptions, 2 sacks, 20
right, but Mikey, yo te puedo virar la tortilla. And like Andres had more touchdowns than half the catches.
He had 2 more touchdowns.
And half the catches.
I think that's a bad thing.
So Chris Z got a bunch of dumps.
I saw Andres's touchdowns. For the most part, they're goal line look, fake.
Yeah, and 18 sacks, and the number 1 team in that conference.
Touchdowns are a hit to the house.
They're in the same conference. Who's above who?
No, but it's Chris's. You have to watch the footage, bro.
Listen, I agree. I agree. It was definitely. I think undoubtedly, Andres should have won, and he did. But I don't think it was as
in a redraft. In a redraft, Chris D is getting
way before Andres. 100%.
Every time. Has to.
Okay.
That guy had 61 catches taking hits.
No. I think the point is it wasn't as the Andres won, but he didn't lap the field.
Yeah, exactly. So I shout out to Chris Z. I mean, it's tight. I give it to you, but they give it to Andres. So fuck these guys.
Best tier 5.
Man, I mean, this is kind of like the same thing. People want to argue against, we saw Eddie going at it, Eddie being, the lawyer that he is. But bro, I mean, it's kind of like, with the Jaime scenario. You look at Nick G's stats in 12 games, and it's like, bro, I'm sorry.
Did more with less. And the biggest threat to David D's candidacy as a tier 5 was Eddie himself. The moment that Ian was down and hurt, should have not played him. We said it on the show. Should have just given the team to David and balled out like the athlete you are at wide receiver.
13 passing touchdowns to 4 interceptions is also a garbage ass ratio. I'm sorry. I don't like it, so I'm not impressed by it. You're going to throw touchdowns because Eddie designs plays for you, but you threw 4 picks still. It says he has a defensive interception, but I cannot tell you how many touchdowns went that guy's way.
Yeah, it's one of those like, okay, yeah, he got it one. But his minus is still negative 100.
Eddie's being too literate with the numbers. Like,
It's Eddie, bro. You know how he is. You know how he
There's
is. But
way
listen,
more
more power
behind
to him. I respect him for that. Him standing up. He
Yeah,
made
he's
a
capping
case
for his
for
boys.
every
He's capping
single
for
one
his
of his
boys, and
players.
you want that. You want that. You want to play for guys gonna cap for you. But
Literally,
we
he
just-
yeah,
made his case for every single one of his players. But
Nick
no,
G
I'm
has
sorry.
the same argument that Jaime did more with less time.
Yeah, I'd say simple as that. 44 catch, 11 touchdowns. If you multiply it times 0.33, 1.33, the guy's finishing with almost 60 catches. Also a tier 5. What
As
the
a tier 5,
That's
bro.
what I had 59 catches, but I'm a tier 2. I got come on, bro.
Yeah,
Give
but
me
you're
the-
Now-
bum. You're bum,
now,
bro. I'll take Nick
biggest-
G over you.
Biggest surprise going into next season.
Well, no, I mean, biggest surprise. of the season.
Someone that completely shattered their ranking.
I'll
And
tell you
someone
what.
that completely destroyed their ranking. Just give me one of each.
Chris
Go ahead,
Completely exploded their ranking. Like, yo, no
Chris Z is
shot.
not a T4.
Who?
He's not gonna go. Chris Z won't go tier 4.
Oh, I'm gonna fight you on that.
I don't
So
think
my argument with that is, I know you haven't seen him play. My argument with that is he's another Bender, where he's a phenomenal offensive player. Now, granted, I think he's better defensively than Bender, but do you really want him as your tier 3? Because let's say in this same system that he's in right now, by definition, tier 3, that means he's a second option. He's proven he can be a great number 3 option, but now you're asking him to be covered by another team's tier 2 or a better athletic tier 3. As
Okay,
opposed
so,
to getting
in
covered by
in
me.
your opinion, who exploded their value? Who do you think doesn't go nowhere near their ranking? They're going to go much higher next season.
I think listen, and I think
Don't give me Manny because we know that's guaranteed.
I think it's someone that a lot of people, unless you watch that team, and I mean watch that team or play that team, Shamir, bro. Shamir is very, very underrated. I was one of those people that when I saw Luka, I was like, bro.
The only guy talking about Shamir is Lulu.
And to be honest, both Lewis wanted to take him with their tier 2 pick. I know this for a fact. And Lulu was going nuts thinking that Lewis was gonna draft him before him. And yeah, man. So I think like right now, honestly, from the times I've refereed him, he has to be in that low tier 2 range.
Who imploded their value?
Dax.
Again. 2 seasons in a row.
The biggest boss, like guy that has no more business in that tier.
Like you dropped the whole tier.
Kevin Newton.
And it's like, look, and it's like Mikey.
Kevin Nunez?
Yeah, bro.
So
No,
Kevin's
he's
a tier 4?
No, Kevin's a tier 2. He got drafted tier 2.
Okay,
He's not gonna go he won't go tier 2 ever again, bro. I'm sorry.
Kevin was
No, he won't. The problem with Kevin is
Too much
so the
time,
problem-
bro. People realized it. Like
yeah, no. Kevin
can't
is
draft
Yeah, no. Your Russia can be a tier 2. Chill.
exactly. That's
It's done deal.
And-
It's done deal. It's done deal.
and he's not that great of a quarterback where he can if you can't count on him scoring 4 straight drives.
And
I'm
not
sorry.
and not that great of a rusher for you to be
If-
able
if
to
you're
even put him in
elite
that
still.
consideration. Like little Julio, either the Julios, I'll take them over Kevin as a
You have to.
rusher.
You have to.
Those are tier 2s. Like those are tier 2s that you're like, all right, they can still rush for me because they're that
There's
amazing. But
even tier 3s that you take over Kevin, bro. If you
Yeah,
just
no
want
shot.
damage offensively, like Chris Baca.
I think
Manny
that
Stevens,
what
Ian
happens with players like him and others within that realm of reason is that they've
That
been
they
in
started
DD
DD
for so
very early.
long.
That's it.
The rankings have been there for so long, and they just gradually move down. And unless you get like overwhelming talent above it, they're not gonna knock them off the
Yeah.
perch.
So actually, I'm gonna take it back. I don't think Dax imploded as much because I think his value is gonna always be, not always be, but I think
End of
he-
tier 2. End of tier 2.
Yeah, I think he's always
In
gonna
a deep league,
yeah,
Dax
he's always
is
gonna
the
be
end
in
of
a
tier
low
2.
2, high 3.
Okay.
Where the value is, let me take him a high 3 in case there's somebody else before. But Kevin is not a 2. Nowhere close.
Yeah, no.
Like Kevin goes from what he went 9th, I think, to Munchie, or 7th.
He went 10th to Jordan.
Oh, yes, that's right, Jordan. He's not going. That means he would theoretically would have gone 30. I don't think he goes 30 because Shamir went 32, and I'm taking Shamir over him.
Well, we did a redraft actually, so we can talk about that later. But to see where Kevin,
Actually,
think-
you know
I
what?
think we
We're
can talk
ready for the
about it now.
redraft. Let's talk about the
Let's talk
redraft.
about it now. We're talking about the
No,
people that-
right into the redraft.
All right, so let me pull up the picture. I sent it to you guys, right?
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
for it. Yeah, you send the picture.
What the? I did.
AJ had the first pick.
Yeah,
His original pick was
it's in the iMessage, not in the.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. AJ's original. He told me. He said, Mikey, I would trade out of the first pick 100%. I don't like anybody there. But if I have to give you a name, I'm gonna take Ant.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Which is what I told him when he said, "Yo, I got the number one pick." I'm like, "Go get it because you're getting Ant, and now you have your defensive leader." Obviously, it didn't work out, but that's beside the point.
And so I stay flat. Then Eddie has the second pick. He takes Ian again, bearing that there was no injury. He told me there was an injury. If you could predict that, it'd be different.
Of course.
well,
Yeah.
no, yeah, of course. But Paulie with KP and stayed the same.
So this was a good one. Chino told me, even though Mark was available, he told me I would still trade out.
Okay.
So
But if he did it, he would take Mark.
Over
He
Hollywood.
said that's best available. He basically gave me a pity, like, okay, if I have to give you a name, that I'm gonna take Mark, but I'm trading out of that. I don't want those first picks. So we're seeing a trend, bro. Like those first 5 picks. I mean,
You had
I
two
mean,
people that wanted
we're
out.
willing
You
to
you
trade
wanna
down.
you had 2 people that wanted completely out.
Yeah.
But look at the 2 people who told you that. It was AJ and Chino.
wide receivers, people that don't really have a
And
No,
it's-
yeah, you're
and
talking
the-
about
and DD Rooks.
first. Exactly, DD Rooks.
And DD Rooks. Moving on. Chris.
no Georgie.
No, we have Georgie.
Oh, Georgie takes Hollywood.
Yes, which is Andy. Are you feeling
Again.
because you can't draft Andy once you get Hollywood, right?
Why not?
Is in Hollywood, aren't you drafting to be a quarterback?
No, but at that point, you draft him to be your center.
Are you sure? Or am I
Yeah,
starting
I
some shit
I
right
mean,
now?
maybe. I mean, again, yeah, you can play it both ways. But at the end of the day,
I'm starting
unless
beef
you're
right
a
now?
captain, what happened?
Like, am I starting a conspiracy here?
No, I think
not like
Georgie
No,
was
no, no.
looking at
I'm
a
not gonna let
quarterback.
you. I'm not gonna let you move a debate here, like to try to meddle in Cowboys camp going into playoffs. So let's keep moving on, just for the sake of the show. Let's and the integrity of the league, because some of us still care about the integrity of the league. Chris picks.
Yeah, CC. He went Pablo.
Yeah, he dropped Ricky. He realized that was foolish, and he said that in the person I asked him, he wanted to defend him, and at that pick, a true defender is Paulo Marshall,
Yeah,
Daniel
which is like I said, that's the only thing I would imagine why he went Ricky. I'm assuming he must have not realized that a top 5 pick was.
I guess he thought he was gonna draft so good that he could take that hit. That bite.
Yeah, I know,
Right.
Yeah, but he thought the correct. Let me get a defender because he knows that's his weak point.
And then
That actually shows growth as a captain. 'Cause you gotta
absolutely.
be able to see that.
Listen, CC has plenty left in the tank, and he's a very competitive kid, and he'll be back. I think he's taken too many on the chin, and he has to bounce back from this, especially having to sit out the Winter Classic, that he's not gonna be able to be a captain. I don't even know if he's gonna be able to play. And then so he's gonna come back retooled, refocused for the next season. Then we move on to Monchi. He goes Julio Iglesias.
So that means he still wants a receiver. So has he learned his lesson?
I mean,
He's
Julio
playing
is a
quarterback.
better receiver than Pablo.
Yes.
So I get it. Again, as a captain,
Yeah, he
you
wanted
gotta
to
know.
beef up the offense instead.
You gotta know. I'm a defender. Let me go get someone that's athletic and is a
Yeah.
good receiver.
True.
Pat.
Daniel Elias. I don't have an issue with that. I think he just moves up one spot from his original.
Yep. He took that. He kept Marshall, and instead of Julio, he took Daniel Elias. Assuming Julio's off the board, and he just took best available there.
Yeah.
That would have been a nice team.
Dusty was upset that Daniel was gone,
Yep.
and instead of getting another DB, he went. Jerry's considered a DB, no?
Yeah,
Right?
Jerry. Again, it's the whole argument that Jerry's the one that you go at when you play don't sleep, but in DD, he's a shutdown defender. If you want to say it like that. So yeah, I think, and again, knowing how Dusty thinks, he's always gonna go defense. So the pick definitely makes sense.
So Jordan's pick now, the shocker, bro.
Yeah, that's a surprise. That's definitely a surprise, and it's
Enzo-
not because it's Enzo. It's just because I don't know about the fit.
Enzo moved up 6 spots for him. He kicked out Kevin Nunez. He said, I can't play with this scrub. Let me go reach for Enzo. And at that point, Enzo, from his original T3 spot, is a huge reach. But Enzo obviously played good. But I guess he wants another true weapon, bro. He didn't want another little rusher. He didn't want another little Mickey Mouse quarterback. He wanted a weapon, bro. And I feel him. Kevin, your days are over, bro. DD's growing and you're falling behind and behind and behind, bro. Get it together.
Chris D.
It's a good pick.
It's a good pick, but it's actually surprising.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was like, what the? This guy wants a rusher / Wes Welker guy. I guess it's for that's but I guess he hasn't had that because I ref his games and his passing game is actually 5 and outs. Yeah, short. And it's like, okay. He's not gonna thrive. He's not gonna thrive with a high game.
Why am I gonna call plays to throw the ball down the field?
Yeah, he's not gonna thrive with a receiver like that. That's why Chris Z, I'm assuming, did so well because that was his hitch guy. So he took Julio and he wanted a defensive presence. So good for him, bro. That's something different.
Oh my God, the next one. I would pay money for that.
I mean, I would pay money to play a season with that guy.
Really?
Dog,
So, Eddie,
dog, you get the shouting matches that you guys would have.
oh yeah, we would go at it for sure, bro. If he's
Brother,
screaming
if you and me argue,
Yeah.
God, dog, no shot. No, you
But I
both
will
get
say
banned.
this.
You both get
Yeah,
banned
yeah.
from DD.
I would
Yeah,
love
but
to play with Ian and Eddie though. That would be
I mean, of course, that's a win-win. But
Oh, of course, I hope so.
If you're his tier 2, the only tier 2, I don't like it, obviously. But regardless, I just don't think. Well, I have to give Eddie credit. Eddie doesn't scream at people that aren't like his boys or whatever. So maybe like week 3, week 4, at that point he's screaming at you. But week 1 and 2, he's not telling you a
When
word.
he screamed
I
at
guarantee
like,
you.
you know you're his boy, bro. You know
Yeah,
that.
I mean, he screamed at me 2 years ago in Worlds when I first met him, when he took me to Worlds for Sports Mania. Screaming, I was like, wow. But anyways, moving on. Mo, I asked him out of, just to keep the quarterbacks the same. I'm not sure he knows who's gone better or not.
Yeah,
like, he stuck with Willie. So, I mean, not much to say about that. I mean, I don't think it was.
But
I
this is the surprise for me. The next one.
Laura stayed with Jules. He loves Jules. He told me that in person. He says that kid is really proving himself. He plays good on both sides of the ball. He likes him a lot, bro. Laura really likes Jules.
That's
I don't see a problem with that. I mean,
everyone bashes on Jules, man. Everyone bashes on Jules, and it's nice to actually see him get some due, and the fact that he had a very good season and a little snippet in the intro video.
Yep. And then so who?
Lewis
and
Dax.
That's super surprising.
I asked him after we beat him in the 4th game of week 4, and I felt it was more like of a
Deflated.
Yeah, with Dax, like just like a get out of my face. My season's done. Just Dax. Like who else? He
Send
didn't
it
even look at who's left on the board.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, again, you would imagine you go Ricky, but I think Lewis can take that risk knowing that he still has a high tier 3.
I thought the play for him to draft there is Raymet.
No, man, you're crazy. Remet's not a tier 2. Remet was a reach because Lulu is his boy. You know, he's Lulu's boy.
He took Tommy top of the 3rd, first pick.
That what?
So that's why I'm saying it, because Lewis picks again 5 picks after that, and 5 picks after that he took Tommy. So you just take Raymet first, and then your next receiver, instead of making it Dax, you could take a Baca, a Chris Baca, and you have a Raymet, who I think is a better quarterback than Tommy, bro. I mean, I played against Tommy, and I didn't like. I've never seen the guy play. I don't even know him, but I played against him one time. And
I mean, I think in no world should Raymet go tier 2. Doesn't matter how low. Raymet only went to 2, like I said, because Lulu knew he was missing week 4, so he's like, let me get my quarterback right now, so my team has at least a shot to win a game week 4. But
reached for Tommy though. He shouldn't have.
I mean, but think about it. They're coming. They came off a win in the tournament.
Do you buy
much-
Peaky?
how much
Listen, I
time
don't want to make it. I don't want to make it like beating up on Kevin. Do you really
No,
think
that's a troll.
I
That's a
don't
troll.
buy it,
There's
bro.
way.
No,
There's
bro.
no
When
way.
he told me that, even told him like, stop, bro. You're doing that just
Come
to
on, Peaky, you're doing the show a
win.
disservice, man. You just killed this segment because when I saw that, like, it just took the fire out of the segment. There's no shot.
He does that para hacerse que van a con muerto. Stop. You're not gonna. You know you're not gonna draft that guy. You don't mesh with a little Mickey Mouse quarterback. That's not your game, Peaky.
And then again, look, Lulu, what did he do? He said he'd go Ray Met again, which tells you that was his plan all along. You know, not necessarily because of the value or anything like that, but just he's saying, let me get my guy to give my chance, to give my guys a chance week 4.
David's making a statement here. Is Manny tier 2?
Yep. So I spoke with him in person. I'm like, he initially wanted
Betta's
to
cracking
go
his
Chris,
neck, bro.
he
You
initially
better
wanted
make a
to
good
go.
point.
He initially wanted to go Chris Baca, and then or Ricky, but he's like, yo, that bye week hurts.
Exactly.
That bye week hurts a lot, bro. And because remember, this is in hindsight, bro. Everyone that had a bye week or like they had to go 4 hard, they got screwed, dude. Like it's hard. The talent is too high in this season. So he just took his speedy receiver. I think Manny C would not have the same stats if all the tier 1s were covering him.
Correct.
I don't think
Of
he could.
course, but so actually, I think I'm surprised, obviously knowing that Ricky was missing the week. But bro, again, I would be shocked that he wouldn't go Ricky, knowing that Manny C or yourself would be there in the second pick of tier 3. Because that's where you got to look beyond just your pick, like drafting behind him 2 picks in a row. Drew is notorious for going his boys. So that one of those picks is gonna be Alfarito, which is obviously why he's not here, because Drew says, let me get Ricky first, and then I get Alfarito second.
But it's a redraft, so like you have to draft knowing that everyone knows where everyone's ranked. You feel me? Like
That's why. But I think if you put
in
a
a
gun to
realistic
Dave,
setting, he would take Ricky.
not taking Manny
Not
C.
knowing, not knowing anything. Yeah.
No way he takes Manny C over Ricky and over you.
Listen, this is interesting.
Sorry, I just don't see it happening.
I went to Eddie. I was already gone.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, but I'm saying, like, yeah, I get you. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would just get my guy. No one knew Manny C was Manny C.
Yeah.
So I would take Ricky at that point.
Biggest losers here was Ricky dropping 14 spots because of the bye week, obviously.
Which it doesn't surprise anybody.
Or Alfarito.
Kevin
falling
with a 6 spot drop, and even that was a troll. So most probably
that's a troll pick by Peaky. I'm not buying.
I think Kevin would have fallen even more.
Yeah, and Alfarito dropping out of the second out of tier 2.
But
So-
again, I think if we go to tier 3, Alfarito's going first pick in tier 3
Right.
because that's Drew's boy. So it was really irrelevant at that point.
But
yeah.
it was actually interesting having the information and looking at hindsight and looking at a redraft. But yeah, a lot was answered and just sort of showed you what we were talking about earlier in the show, the people who made that jump and the people who made that drop.
To be honest, what this shows more to me now, I'm looking at about AJ, Chink, Munch, and I don't really want to put him in there, but let's just, for the sake of the argument, let's say Laura. This shows me that they all learned from their first season in DD. And AJ and Chink being willing to trade down to get maybe better picks at the later rounds.
Okay.
And Laura is saying, listen, I had a good season with my guy. I'm going to stick with my guy. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mikey, you're new to the flag game. Not, but you're new to Done Deal.
Yes.
So you know the flag game, but you're new to Done Deal. What's your takeaway? And you're not even a cap.
Dude, so, I mean, I don't like the fact, like, whenever you see a wide receiver, a defensive back captain, you automatically, and I'm telling you this as from a player that gets drafted, just like captains have their own chat, we all have our own chats too, bro. We don't want to go to a munchie. No offense. We don't want to go to a chink. When these people are up and drafting, we hide under the table. We go to the bathroom. We go get a drink at the bar. We get off the FaceTime. You don't want to go to a Mo. You don't want to go to a Chris D. You don't want to go to a Dusty. Like, not really. Like if you go, you go. But you really end up wanting to go to the true quarterbacks, your Eddies, your Peakies, your Davids, now your Baca, your now Lulu. People are gonna want to go to these people. So I think that these DB caps, what they need to learn, which is what I learned the hard way, bro, is that all your tiers matter, bro. Your team has to be well balanced. You can't
where's the value? Where do you
The va-
maximize your value? What tier? In
I
four
think
man.
I think you win the teams that have the best, that are doing the best, has to be in their tier 3, tier 4 matchup.
Notice the teams that are up there.
Yeah.
And look at their tier 3s and look at their tier 4s.
Dolphins will have tier 3 of the year. Our tier 4's Ernie, or we ended up trading for him.
Arguably, you're talking about look, the Dolphins arguably have a captain, the number one player, the second player in the league, with, if you want to go by this redraft, 2 tier 2s, a high tier 3, and Boo's arguably a low tier 4, if not the best tier 5.
Yeah.
So check. Double. You have the Patriots that have Baca, a top tier player, Jaime, essentially a captain, but for the sake of it, a high tier 2.
Yeah.
Carlos, another one that
He's gonna be a high
maybe next year, 2 high 3. CP, a middle of the road tier 4 that can give you problems. And Tony's nothing crazy, but again, that top being a quarterback is huge. And then in the north, you have Peaky, number one player, with 2 tier 2s and 2 tier 4s. That's check.
That's
double.
the blueprint, gentlemen.
And then
Peaky's team is the blueprint for like tier by tier, like how you want to have it. Obviously, there was a lot of buffs that came with injuries this season, which everyone wishes they had an injured player now. But Peaky 8 with his new team. It's a good team. He has no flaw, bro. Like on any tier.
Like we said, I don't think he feels pressure, and I think a player of his magnitude shouldn't really like come to the pressure, but he has to know if he doesn't win the championship, it's a lost season.
He knows it. Peaky
You
plays
a
with that
buzz,
pressure.
you a
Peaky plays with that
buzz,
pressure.
boy. If you don't win this season, you a buzz.
Peaky creates ghosts so that he could compete against them. And he convinces himself of whatever the plot is or whatever the storyline is, and that he has to beat it. Look at all the videos that we put, that when I'm recording the games, bro, and he's telling you, I'm gonna draw this play, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And he does it. Because this is like, you're just seeing an extremely gifted football player doing his thing, and that's how he keeps himself motivated. There's just people that just have that inner tick inside them, and he loves to create ghosts and compete against ghosts. Bro, I'm telling you, when I was in that semifinal against him, that man talks so much trash during the whole entire game, and it's little comments. Your quarterback sucks. You're not playing for a real quarterback. If you were with me, you would be way better. You're trash on that team. Look, I'm going to hit your quarterback on the next play. I'm going to beat you with my tier 5. I bet you your quarterback has to give it to Dusty the whole entire time. Your captain's not a quarterback. All game, you're rushing the guy, and every time you walk away, he's just whispering that into your ear. And it's a little smirk, a little this, a little that, going to the sideline, stepping on one foot, throwing it. That's just him, man. That's just him. And you guys actually think that that's getting to him? No, he wants to be the underdog because he's always the favorite. But he understands that no one likes him. He says it himself, because he either beat you, humiliated you, or he was just a jerk to you. Because he's good at playing football. Outside of the football field, he's a great guy. On the football field, he's a jerk because he's great at football. And it is what it is. So I do think that he should win it all. He should. Should he win on that side of the conference? I don't think anyone can mount a challenge against him. I think that our other conference is going to come down to 2 teams. I really think it's just going to be the Dolphins and the Patriots. I really don't think no one else could, which we're going to get to right now. It's Peaky's to lose, man. It's Peaky's to lose. He has the best team. It's his to lose. I don't care how he wants to water it down. It's his to lose. Now, with that said, before we get to the playoff projection, you talked about injuries. What injuries are we looking at before we look at this picture? Chargers.
Immediately.
Ian.
Chargers big time, and we have. I know Mikey. I know you weren't around, but I know Angel was. So last night, Monday night, Roger got hurt in red zone. He got rolled up on. He was complaining about his knee. Now I saw him running around afterwards, so he was fine. But we know what it can be, and we know who we're dealing with here in terms of we remember everybody remembers Manny Chang and the Vikings last season. So I don't want to say anything, but we have to watch all the way up to Friday.
Shot.
Friday
Roger has
night.
too much pride to walk away like that.
I agree with that statement, but I think I don't know, man. We'll see. Listen, we'll see, man. We'll see. Friday night, I wouldn't be surprised if by Friday night we don't get one of those tweets. Oh, Cowboys decide to drop their tier 5 due to injury. They're not picking anyone up. Let's see.
Wow.
Man.
The penalty is still giving up one drive, right?
Which is crap.
You give up one drive, 5 yard, like at the no run zone, right?
Yeah, you give that up all day.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, the
and
Saints
like,
kind of showed you that you could run the table with 4 hard.
Yeah, but no.
Now, well, it's the Cowboys. It's different. And the competition obviously much higher because it's the playoffs. So it's not a regular season week. That said, Mikey, let's bring up. It's time.
Let's do this.
It's time to play God. Okay, so here we go. 12-team single elimination. Let's play God, gentlemen. Which one are we starting off first? I want to do this a little unconventional. All right, top left. We'll do top left. Falcons, Niners. Perra,
So,
what you think?
man, this is actually. So I don't think it's tough, man. It's tough.
Man,
You have the Niners.
It's Lulu, bro.
You have the Niners with 2 tier 5, right? And then you have but at the same time, you have the Falcons arguably with 2 tier 5s. Arguably. Or at the very least with Lulu, who obviously is the number 1 player in that matchup, and it's not close. But then you have Lulu, but then you have Jordan and Petey and Baca. Now I would say Jordan, Petey, Shamir, Baca, and then you have, I would probably put Manny and Chris Marin, and then Nick and Nick. So it's tough. It's tough because, oh man, that's a hard pick. But I'm gonna have to give it to the Niners with Baca and the fact that they get ball first.
Yeah. 4-3.
I just don't see the Falcons being able to get more than 1 stop against that offense.
Okay. Jaguars.
I'll pick the South. You pick the North.
Okay, we'll do that. That's cool. I like that. So Chargers, Saints.
That's another tough one. 2 tier 5s against 2 tier. That's legitimate 2 tier 5.
Ian's hurt.
Yeah, man. So
Ian's gonna give you the first game at most. At most, he's gonna give you that first game.
You know what?
Bro, it's AJ's a dog, bro. AJ's a dog. He's a dog. Suazo's a dog.
It pains me to do it because the Saints obviously have two of my guys, 3 of my guys really. But man, I just think Eddie will be smart enough, in my opinion, to say,
Mikey, you actually think that the Chargers are gonna? Yes or no, Mikey?
I think Chargers win.
Because like you said, I think Ian can give you 1 game. And then I think if Eddie's smart, if I'm Eddie and I'm smart, I'm like, listen, brother, David, it's on you. Throw to me, Ian, and freaking little Julio. Now you tell Ian for at least 2 to 3 drives, hey, take it easy on offense, because Eddie's gonna take AJ, or you would assume AJ's gonna probably cover Eddie, and cheeky on little Julio. So now you have Ian on a tier 5, because I would assume Suazo's probably gonna rush David. You know, and even if not, again, if I'm Eddie, I think that's my game plan because you can give Ian a little bit of a break offensively. So I have to taking the Chargers, man. I'm taking the Chargers.
So then Eddie gets what he wants. He's gonna get Dolphins Chargers.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I think Eddie wins. I think Eddie wins. I can't say if I have to. I'll probably say I'll say 4-3 again.
Okay.
I honestly don't see a lot of blowouts in the playoffs this season.
Okay. Moving on to the other side, we have the Jaguars and the Giants. Valiant effort by Laura. Not enough. Not enough. I've seen what Jerry and Chris Z could bring to a defense in DD. Chris D speaks volumes, and you have an underutilized weapon in Forrest that is due to pop off in one game. And just the Jaguars just don't have enough. Underwhelming. At the bottom, Bears and Panthers. Now, this was interesting. Bears started off very hot at the beginning of the season, and then they went stale towards the end and almost missed it. If I'm not mistaken, they went 1-3 on the last week. They barely missed it. They almost imploded out of the playoffs. Panthers, new look Panthers, but they're new in terms of DD, but not familiarity. I think playoff P makes another push, and I'm going to take Panthers, Bears 4-2. Now it gets interesting. Now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes here. Patriots, Niners. What do you think, Perra? They beat the brakes out of them. They beat the brakes out of them.
So I'm not gonna say they beat the brakes off them. I'm not gonna go that much because I just don't see a match. Yeah, it's 4-2. I have the Patriots going forward 4-2, but I think it's a close 4-2, man. I don't see anybody getting blown out like that. Other than honestly, my next game, which is the Dolphins against the Chargers, because of the fact that the Chargers has 2 legitimate tier 5s. They're bringing in a guy that's hurt, so we don't know if he's going to even be available that second game. And the Dolphins are coming fresh with 5 athletes. So it's already a matchup for the Dolphins, given the fact that there might be an injury.
But Eddie does believe that the Dolphins want no part of him in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, Eddie can think that, and I don't necessarily think he's right, because I don't think David fears anybody. I don't think Mikey fears anybody. I can tell you, Ernie definitely doesn't fear anybody. But yeah, man, I don't see how they don't blow. I don't see how they don't blow him out 4-1.
Okay, and I agree with you. It's going to be Patriots Dolphins. Patriots Dolphins on that side. I think that the worst thing that could have happened to anyone that's going to face the Patriots is that there was any kind of discussion to put an asterisk on the MVP for Baca, because an upset Baca yielded this Baca, and then the man wins the MVP, and then everyone takes a royal dump on him winning it. So he's going to come out blazing. And this is going to be the game that I want to watch, because I think that everything else is going to pale in comparison. I think that the game to watch, I don't think that we had a honest first game. There's too many hungover players that partied too hard on the Friday before the game.
And they were going for hard.
And they were going for hard. So we didn't get the quality in the match. I think the winner of this DD is going to come out of this game between the Dolphins and the Patriots. But
I'm actually going to fight you on that.
Okay, we'll wait for that. Now, Giants, Cowboys.
It's all you.
Giants, Cowboys. Wow. At the end of the day, it's going to boil down to who I think has the better defensive player, or the better captain overall, and I think that that's Georgie. That's my opinion. And I know that you hate Andy as a quarterback, but I just think he has too much to fail. And I've seen him make strides in this season where games were on the line and he put the ball in the hands of the people who can make plays, whether it was Mark or whether it was Georgie, and he squeezed out some games. And you could see the snippet in the intro of the DD Live, you know, where Andy has made plays. I think Cowboys take the Giants.
You said I hate Andy as a quarterback?
Yes.
Damn, no, I wouldn't go that far, but I just think
Andy, the DD quarterback.
no, I think just they don't have a matchup advantage in this game at all. I think if that's what it comes down to, I would probably.
Well, listen, if you told me that Chris D could put the ball in Forrest's hands 30 yards downfield, absolutely, I would reconsider my position. But that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're talking about. I mean, listen. I'm not gonna fight you on it, but it's your pick. It's your pick.
No, tell me. This is what this is.
I think if that's the game, I think the Giants. I think their defense is too much for Andy to handle, and Forrest's speed at rushing is gonna kill him.
I'll be tiebreaker.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I also have to agree with Behead. I think Cowboys get out.
Cowboys get out.
This is the matchup.
Giants are not as bad as people think, man.
Okay. Giants it is.
No, but this is we're giving you
No,
our
this is DD. Hey, listen, it's DD Live. You guys played against these people. I'm going about what I'm seeing in the huddles, what I'm seeing in the development, and what I'm seeing that these teams could actually execute. Because it's not like that, you know, it's just Madden. We're looking at ratings and we're looking at what people could actually do. No. It's actually like, it's not what you can do. It's what you actually do when you're on the field. And if Chris D exploited his team to its maximum potential, they can make noise in the playoffs. But I just don't, bro. I've fallen asleep, literally, like drinking, watching the Giants on off. I'd rather see paint dry.
It's not pretty.
I'd rather see paint dry. Not a knock on Jerry, not a knock on Chris Z, not a knock on Forrest, my best friend. I love Chris D, but I'd rather see paint dry than watch that offense. And I just think that when it boils down to it, I've just seen Andy make the throw. I've seen Andy make the pass. Maybe you haven't. Maybe there's just too much familiarity there. And you're just saying no to the matchups. But Mark is a damn good football player that we made an argument for Offensive Player of the Year. Georgie's a damn good football player. They might go 4 hard, or they might get an additional substitution. And Andy, he's running damn good plays, bro. And I'm going to go with you guys with the Giants. But
I think
it's not going to make a difference on the next game, guys. It's not going to make a difference on the next game. But I really think the Cowboys would win that game. But the next one, I'm sorry, it's Peaky. It's Peaky.
I'm not gonna argue with you.
No shot.
I'm not gonna argue with you. There's no point.
And I could even tell you from right now, no shot. Seahawks over Giants.
Chill.
You could already just like copy and paste, drag and drop. Like it's Seahawks in the final. And you tell me who's gonna win between Patriots and Dolphins.
I don't think Andres. I saw them play last week, and it was a very close game, bro.
Okay.
So
I recorded the game, guys. I recorded the game. I know what I'm talking about. It was all blunders and mistakes that the Seahawks were making to themselves. Barring one great play from Forrest that he got the interception and was able to, and then that's why they were able to come back, get it within 1 score. And then Peaky was like, all right, fine. Time to wrap this game up. Drove down the field, won the game. How many times has he done that? And you really think in the playoffs with all this pressure after getting snubbed for the MVP again, you really think that this guy is just going to roll over into the fetal position and lose a second straight semifinal game?
I don't think anyone's saying he's going to roll over, but I just don't think it's as clear cut as you're making it out to be.
Ricky, Enzo, Peaky as your top 3 cannot take Chris D, Jerry, and Chris Z.
I'm not saying they can't take. That's not the issue.
Chris D can clamp Enzo just fine. That's not a problem. And Jerry can more than handle will handle Ricky. The difference why I think Giants can beat them is because Andres is gonna struggle rushing Chris D and Chris Z. Who's covering Chris Z?
No, it's gonna be Enzo because Andres is gonna continue to rush him. But listen, I just don't think, like I said, I don't. I'm gonna tell you this.
Andres broke the record on Chris D, guys. Like I saw the
Fine.
game.
That's
I saw
fine.
the game. I'm
That's fine, but it's not a blowout. It's not a for sure thing.
4-2.
I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, in the North, the only team, well, not the team that's best suited to beat the Seahawks in a one-game scenario is the Giants. I'm telling you right now.
Put the Seahawks in the final.
That's fine.
No shot.
I'm just telling you. Nah, you're talking crazy. There is a shot. I'm telling you.
Crazy, man. It's playoffs.
So
now you talk crazy. Your turn.
No, there's nothing crazy to say here. So this is why I think Peaky should win it all, because I think this game is gonna be a fucking war. This game's gonna be tight, bro, and I think it's gonna be a physical game. It's gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be hot. So I think one of these teams, I think the winner of this game might wear itself out. But at the end of the day, it's hard for me to say, because of arguments that I've made prior, to say that I'm going to choose the Dolphins, but I have to choose the Dolphins over the Patriots. I just have to. Forget the captains, because like I've said before, I'm going to take Baca over David. Bro, you have Mikey on Jaime, a wash, if you want to say.
It's that the thing is at the bottom end of that Patriots, they're last tier.
No, not even that, brother. You have Ernie rushing Baca. Yeah, that's huge.
It kind of negates the greatness of Baca.
That's huge, because now you have David on Jaime, Mikey on Carlos, and Manny C on CP.
GG's.
Like, I'm sorry, bro. It's just hard, but I do think this is a game that. It's gonna be 5 to 6 plays on every drive, and teams are not gonna score. And I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to full 30 minutes and it ends up Dolphins 3-2, because this game is gonna be a war, man. That's the only thing I have.
Who wins the final?
So because of what I'm predicting, in my opinion, what I can see happening, I think if that's the case, I think the Seahawks win. Because they're gonna have a little bit more rest, they're gonna be a little bit fresher. So I think if the Patriots Dolphins game plays out the way I think it should, I think the Seahawks get the edge, because they're gonna be just a little bit more fresher, and Piggy's gonna play that psychological game on David and on Mikey and on Ernie and Manny C, that's very quiet, and he's definitely gonna win the psychological war. That I can tell you right now. But I just think the edge has to go to Beaky, given what I just said in terms of I think the Dolphins-Patriots game is going to be a bloodbath, because with the Dolphins going 4 hard, with Mikey hungover, they tied 3-3.
Yep.
So now think about them at full strength, adding Ernie. I just think that game, you can say, oh, well, then that means the Dolphins win easily. But I just think... It's that game that should be the final.
It should be the final.
But because I think they match up good against each other.
I'm too biased. I can't even say, because I just don't see David losing. I don't see David losing. I just feel like they have the more complete team, and I think they have the more resilient team. And I feel that they fit their roles a lot better, and they know their roles. And the bottom end of the team is better when you're looking at the Dolphins.
You're talking about Baga being rushed by Ernie the whole game, as opposed to the Dolphins, as opposed to Patriots having to rush CP.
Right.
And then you can't, maybe on a third down, you send Cardinals, but it better be a 3rd and long where all you got to cover is the end zone. Because other than that, CP is not going to be able to run with Ernie, Manny, or Mikey.
I think that the Dolphins have a stronger chance of winning this than more would care to admit. I would take the Dolphins over the Seahawks if money was on the line. And it's not an indictment on Peaky, just everybody else. I just feel that the Dolphins have a more solid team to win a final. Now, one thing that strikes me, and it's kind of we've fallen into, and it's sort of what always happens, that sort of when you start to predict wins and losses, you kind of gravitate towards what was in the regular season. Now, where I want to switch it up, I want you to give me, Perra, where did on my bracket, where did I get it completely wrong? Where do you think that the upset's going to be at? Because there has to be an upset. This is not going to play out. There's an upset here. The 1-1s are not going to make it. Both ones are not going to make it. Something always happens. So where do you think I got it wrong? I can tell you that where you got it wrong, I think that the surprise is going to be that the Saints it's not going to change the grand scheme of things. I think the Falcons and the Saints win, not the Niners and Chargers. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't change anything.
Definitely, I'm definitely not gonna agree with the first part, but I definitely agree with the latter. It's just difference. Man, listen,
because we've been sleeping on Lulu, bro, and the guy just went to like Vegas and now he came back, and it's just he's just missed a week. Like he's not gonna forget how to play football. Like he's just gonna keep doing what they did the first 3 weeks of the season.
Listen. I'm telling you right now, Laura might make it to the North Championship.
Okay. You know
if
what?
Laura wins, I'm telling you right now, if Laura and the Jaguars beat the Giants, which I think it'll be harder for them to do. If they win that game, I got them beating Peaky in the second round.
The Laura Peaky thing.
Yep. That team's going to come. I know who Laura is.
I can't wait. I can't wait for Saturday.
And selfishly, I'm giving Laura the fuel because I want Laura to play Peaky in the second round.
Inject, baby, inject it.
But I'm telling you, man, if Laura wins that first game, that guy is going to have his confidence and the confidence of that team through the roof. And I think at that point, I think he has a great chance of beating Peaky in the second round.
Well, there you have it, gentlemen. It was a jam-packed show.
Wait. Show's not over.
Show's not over?
No, show's not over. So most important thing I want to do right now is I want to thank everybody that voted us.
Absolutely.
That segment. So I appreciate that.
Yes, we love you. Thank you for voting for us.
Mikey's having
he's having technical difficulties with audio.
Still loud?
Yeah, you're still loud. He's trying to harness all that emotion, like talking about the playoffs. He's gonna win it all, and he's gonna have pick sixes and everything. So I appreciate you guys voting us in. It was I also want to thank the commissioner, Joanne, Andres, CP, and Andy for letting my comedic self backpedal into this back again, being back on DD Live, being able to bring you guys content like this. This is one of the best aspects of being part of this league. It's not only we could play, we could talk about it, we could be boys, and just have a great time. And it's just, hey,
what about now?
You sound phenomenal.
Fixed
we're not talking about playoffs anymore, so that's what it is.
You're good.
Okay. Wonderful.
Mike, you've been holding a lot. You want to say anything?
Mikey, who do you want to play in the finals from North?
Bro, honestly, if I catch the Seahawks, Enzo's getting Klampuski. That guy's doing good because he's in that foo ass conference. I catch that guy. The Vegas over for him is 2.5 receptions, probably. I don't know what people take on that. Beaky's gonna have Ernie on him all night long. Ricky, I think David can handle that, or maybe vice versa. Maybe David gets Enzo, and I mean after that it's over. And once you flip the script, I mean, I don't know. Probably Ricky's gonna be on me. Manny C's gonna fly right by Enzo. Andres, you think you're a sack master? Yo, good luck rushing David. If you sack him, okay, bro. But I think David's gonna run for 300 yards. I don't want to see them in the final. I don't think they match up well against us. I really want to see, bro. I think a really good team is the Giants, bro. I like them. I don't know why.
Okay.
I like the Giants, man. I think the Giants go, and I think I agree with on my side that Lulu wins out. I think Lulu actually they get Chris Baca back, right?
Yeah, the
Niners get Chris Baca, yes.
That's
Yeah.
why I chose them.
Yeah, Niners. No, I agree with everything. I think Giants can stun the Seahawks. I saw them play last time, and
So this is what I will say that I forgot to mention. In a one-game scenario, I think the Seahawks obviously can lose. But I don't see anyone beating Peaky if he gets to the finals. Because you're going to have to beat him twice in a series. I don't see that happening. That team's too well built to lose a series being led by Peaky.
true.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Last show of the regular season.
Is it really the last one, or do we do one like after?
We get the show rolls on, man. We still got the Winter
Oh, man.
Classic. We got the pre. We got the post.
And
Then
we'll
we
do
got the next
postseason.
season. Ain't going
Yeah,
nowhere.
We'll
We ain't
do a
going nowhere.
postseason. We'll do a postseason. Then we'll do we'll see you guys back for the pre-tournament right after the draft.
And just to ensure that I don't get banned from any further seasons, I'll make sure not to go to the draft, gentlemen.
Yeah, Angel's not allowed to the draft. DD has banned him from the draft.
Is he really banned from the draft from the
No,
winter?
No,
man,
my
I've
bad.
never-
Not
I've
DD. Not
never-
DD. DD Live has decided Angel is
Yeah,
not
unanimously, I'm not allowed to go.
I'm gonna order a crazy suit already. I have to fucking order one.
No,
Hey,
no.
just
See,
make sure it has a shade of blue on it. All right.
Stop lying to me, bro.
hey, guys.
Hey, you either going to the Giants or you going to the Lions. So you need a shade of blue.
The Lions can't afford me right now, bro. They don't have the draft capital for that.
Hey, guys, listen, I'm not a bad guy. You know, I'm not a bad guy. All right. I like to play football. Just pick me, please. Please just pick me. If you get me at what, tier 7? What's the word on the street? Tier 7? Nobody wants to pick me, right?
Yeah, you're looking at the low 80s, high 90s.
Ugh. So I'm really living up to that Voldemort name, huh?
Yo,
Guys, love you all. DDLIVE will be back better than ever. I hope you guys like this 2.0, and
Deuces.
best of luck. Deuces, homies. Peace.
bye, mis amores.